On the morning of July 2nd, 1937, one of the world's greatest aviation pioneers vanished without a trace. Amelia Earhart, a woman who had defied the very limits of human flight, disappeared during her most daring journey yet, an attempt to fly around the world. As the sun rose that fateful day, her plane, the Lockheed Electra, disappeared into the vast Pacific Ocean, leaving behind only unanswered questions. Was it a tragic accident, a desperate struggle against the elements, or something more sinister? Nearly a century later, the mystery of Amelia Earhart's disappearance continues to captivate the world, and the search for answers remains as urgent as ever. Born on July 24, 1897, in Atchison, Kansas, Amelia Earhart was destined to break barriers. From an early age, she exhibited a fearless spirit, a relentless drive that would propel her into history. In a time when women were expected to stay in the domestic sphere, Amelia defied convention. She wasn't just a passenger on the plane, she was the pilot. In 1932, just 5 years after Charles Lindbergh's solo transatlantic flight, Amelia became the first woman to fly solo across the Atlantic. Her triumph wasn't merely a victory for women, it was a victory for humanity. A demonstration that no frontier, no challenge, no dream was beyond reach. But Amelia's ambitions didn't stop there. She sought records, yes, but she also sought to inspire. She worked tirelessly to promote the presence of women in aviation, believing that the sky wasn't a place for the few. It was a place for anyone daring enough to reach for it. Throughout the 1930s, she would set numerous records, including the first woman to fly solo non-stop across the United States, and the first woman to fly solo from Hawaii to California. Yet, it was her final mission, to fly around the world that would capture the imagination of the world and, ultimately, seal her legacy. 1937. The world was on the brink of change. Technology had taken humanity to places once thought impossible, and Amelia Earhart was once again at the forefront. This time, her goal was to circumnavigate the globe. The mission was perilous, an unprecedented feat that only a few had dared to attempt. But for Amelia, there was no question. It was the next step. With Fred Noonan, an experienced navigator, by her side, Earhart set out in a custom-built Lockheed Electra 10E, an aircraft designed to tackle long-distance flights with precision. They began their journey on June 1, 1937, in Oakland, California, and over the course of just under a month, they flew across continents, through jungles and deserts, over mountains and oceans. By June 29th, they had reached Lae, New Guinea, with only 7,000 miles left to go. Despite the weight of the challenge, their spirits were high, but the hardest stretch was yet to come. The final leg to Howland Island, a tiny speck in the vastness of the Pacific Ocean, just over 2,500 miles away. On July 2, 1937, at 10 a.m. local time, Amelia and Fred took off from Lae, brimming with confidence. What happened next would become the stuff of legend. With every passing hour, conditions worsened. Cloud cover obscured the stars, hampering Noonan's celestial navigation. Radio transmissions from Earhart's plane grew increasingly strained, static clouding their communication with the U.S. Coast Guard cutter, Itasca, stationed near Howland Island. Her final words, broadcast at 8:43 a.m., echoed in the hearts of millions. "We are on the line 157337. We are running north and south." And then, silence. What happened to Amelia Earhart and Fred Noonan? What led to that eerie silence? The official U.S. government conclusion is that their plane simply ran out of fuel, and they crashed into the Pacific. The massive ocean, with depths reaching over 18,000 feet near Howland Island, swallowed the wreckage whole. Despite countless search efforts, no definitive evidence has ever been found to confirm this. The most widely accepted theory is the crash and sink hypothesis. According to this scenario, the Lockheed Electra, lost and unable to locate Howland Island, continued to circle the area. As their fuel ran low, they likely ditched the plane into the ocean, where it sank, perhaps never to be seen again. The ocean currents, vast and relentless, would have carried the wreckage far from the crash site, making it virtually impossible to find. Modern technology, including sonar mapping, has turned up little to support this theory, though many remain convinced that the plane lies at the bottom of the sea. Yet some point to troubling contradictions. Despite years of searching, why has no trace of the Electra been found? Could the ocean's vastness be concealing a wreckage that will never see the light of day? Or perhaps there's more to the story. Another theory has gained traction over the years, the Nikumaroro hypothesis. According to this theory, Earhart and Noonan did not crash into the ocean at all, but instead ended up on a small uninhabited island known as Nikumaroro in the Republic of Kiribati. This remote island lies several hundred miles away from Howland and is thought to have been a possible emergency landing site for the plane. Over the years, expeditions led by the International Group for Historic Aircraft Recovery, or TIGHAR, have uncovered a handful of intriguing artifacts. A piece of aluminum, possibly from the Electra, was discovered on the island, as well as a jar of freckle cream, thought to be from the 1930s, that may have belonged to Amelia. Even skeletal remains, though inconclusive, were found on the island and analyzed by forensic anthropologists. Could these remains be hers? While compelling, the evidence is not definitive. Many skeptics believe the artifacts could be unrelated, or the remains may belong to someone else. But for some, the theory remains a tantalizing possibility. Other theories have ventured into darker, more dangerous territories. One of the most controversial is the Japanese capture theory, which suggests that Earhart and Noonan veered off course and ended up in Japanese-controlled territory. There were rumors during World War II that the two Americans were captured as spies. Some conspiracy theorists claim to have seen photographs of Earhart in Japanese custody. Yet, historians dismiss these accounts, citing a lack of reliable evidence. Could Amelia's flight have been a cover for a covert U.S. government mission? Some theorists believe that her disappearance was orchestrated to conceal a spy operation. While this notion is intriguing, it remains highly speculative, with little concrete evidence to support the idea that Earhart was involved in espionage. Amelia Earhart's disappearance may remain one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of the 20th century, but her legacy is not defined by the question marks surrounding her final moments. Rather, it is the indelible impact she left on the world that continues to inspire generations. She wasn't just a pilot. She was a pioneer, a champion of women's rights, and a symbol of courage. As the first president of the 99s, an organization for female pilots, Earhart worked tirelessly to create opportunities for women to break through the barriers of aviation and beyond. Her life wasn't about just flying planes, it was about flying above expectations, above the societal limits, and towards a horizon of infinite possibility. She once said, "The most effective way to do it is to do it." And for Amelia, doing it meant defying all odds. The truth about what happened to Amelia Earhart may never be fully uncovered, but in that mystery, we find a legend, a story that continues to captivate our imaginations, spark our curiosity, and inspire us to reach higher. Perhaps the greatest gift Amelia gave us is not the answers, but the questions. The possibility that sometimes some mysteries are meant to remain unsolved, soaring forever in the endless sky.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into one of the most greatest mysteries. If you've enjoyed this journey, share your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, stay curious and stay safe.